AJ here. One of my favorite things that I've ever made, and I've been making for probably 10 years, is chili. And I really got into chili when I was younger because it was very high in protein, and it was one of those things that you could kind of throw in one pot, let it cook all day, and it seems to get better the longer you let it sit there. So today we're going to be making this chili. I won't say it's famous. It's not on the level of Kevin from The Office, but it is pretty good. So we'll be getting into this. The good thing about this is it's spicy but not too hot. It's very filling, it's very like umami tasting, and it's adapted so that if you don't eat meat or if you do eat meat, you'll enjoy it either way. I literally am gonna make this for my wife and I. My wife eats meat, I don't. So you can have it both ways and it's still good. Let's get into it. Yeah, let's get into this. Start by chopping your onion and garlic and mushrooms. Those are the things you're gonna wanna start cooking right away. All right, as you can see here, I've chopped up some onions, mushrooms, jalapenos, those are optional, and garlic. These are kind of the first things that need to go in. So let me move my beautiful new hot plate over here so that we can start cooking this thing. So we're gonna wanna set this to around medium low, and this is new, so I may have to adjust it, and obviously every stove is a little bit different, but you want it to be about medium low because you wanna cook the onions low and slow, just like Kevin from The Office. Where you really want them to hang out there for a while. And then what you're gonna wanna throw in here is either butter, vegan butter, olive oil, any oil. I mean, you could do coconut oil, but for me, the flavor doesn't super go, so I'm gonna do olive oil, but I know some people like to avoid olive oil or whatever. I guess you technically could do water if you're one of these oil-free people. Go for it, that would work. All right, so I think this is heating up, so I'm just gonna throw in a little bit of olive oil. You would do maybe, I don't know, a tablespoon or so. You can kind of eyeball it for this. You want your onions to really sweat it out. Now I have here basically one onion. It was a pretty big onion, so I don't think I need anything more than that. Do you see this real professional form, by the way? You've gotta always hold the entire cutting board up. So we're gonna start with the onions. And then once I start seeing that they're starting to kind of like sweat a little bit, I'm gonna pretty much immediately add the mushrooms and the jalapenos into this because I want the mushrooms kind of cooked up before we start adding the liquids and stuff like that. So I'm gonna kind of get this mixing a little bit more. It's not getting as hot as I would like. Like I said, this hot plate's new, so I have no idea if I'm gonna have to like crank it up a little bit more, crank it down. So I'm kind of going to medium right now to see if that'll get it going. Let me get a spoon as well so that I could stir this because you're gonna wanna move it around, especially if all the onions kind of piled on top of each other. All right, so we're waiting for these onions to kind of get to temperature so that it's heating up here on this new hot plate. But yeah, it might take a minute. Like I said, this is new. One of the things I like about chili a lot, it's one of the first things I ever made where somebody was like, without a recipe, right? Where it was kind of like tweaked based on my own taste, where somebody else tried it and they were like, wow, this is really good, AJ. I can't believe you made this. You know, where'd you get the recipe? And I'm like, oh, I made it over several attempts. So chili has a special place in my heart. It's also one of the things my wife used to hate. When we first started dating, but now she likes, sometimes even loves it, depending on what we're making. So this chili, I'm gonna make it plant-based, but I'm actually gonna take a portion of it and make it with some bison, ground bison for my wife because she eats meat. So when I made this recipe, I was actually eating meat. So this was originally made for a meat-based, or not a meat-based, but a diet that includes meat. And then I adapted it when I stopped eating meat. And it was just as good because they have cool things like Beyond Burger and Impossible Meats and things like that. The cashier at the grocery store thought I was 19. I think that's a pretty cool compliment. You laughing at me, JD? I mean, I was wearing a mask, so I don't know how flattering it is, but it's something. Better than him saying you look horrible. You need some rest. Waiting for onions to cook be like. All right, we're starting to get some sizzle out of these onions. This is good. It's almost ASMR. So I think these are cooking finally. It just took a minute to get up to temperature. Awesome. So once they start sweating a little bit, you can throw in the mushrooms next. I like my mushrooms to be cooked. Oh, and if you don't like mushrooms, I know people have strong feelings about mushrooms. They love them or they hate them, or sometimes a mushroom dumped them and they're holding this grudge. You don't have to put them in there. Originally, this recipe didn't have mushrooms. I added it when I stopped eating meat because I wanted a little bit of extra protein and that umami flavor. But it's not necessary, so if you don't want to, just skip it. But I love them. And I like to chop them, like dice them almost. I like them nice and small little bitties, because I don't want a chunk of mushroom in my chili. Like, this isn't mushroom chili. This is just chili that also has mushrooms in it. Two different things. Way different. We're not talking tomato. We're talking chili with mushrooms versus mushroom chili. So I've got the mushrooms in here now. This thing is finally getting up to temperature. So I think because it's electric versus the gas, it takes the gas stove. Takes a little bit longer to get up to temperature, but it seems to be going now, which is very encouraging, because my mission was for you to witness me going like this. And now that has happened, I can pretty much call it a day. All right, so that's cooking down. Now I'm gonna add the jalapenos. Again, these are optional. I usually don't make it with jalapenos, but I have before. If you like things spicy, if you want your chili to be nice and hot, definitely add 1 or 2. I'm only adding 1 because I tend to always make things too spicy because I like spice. But my fairy wife, she likes things that are spicy, but not too spicy. She doesn't want her mouth on fire. She's spicy enough without it. Can you tell she's in the other room and I'm trying to get a reaction out of her? We're gonna let these sweat out for about 10 minutes, like low and slow, really let them ooze out. Do not caramelize the onion. That's not what you're trying to go for here. You want them to stay translucent, okay? So we're gonna let that cook for a little bit, and I will see you when we're ready to add the next ingredients, which will be the meat or not meat, impossible meat if you're me. So I'll see you in 10 minutes. All right, it's been about 10 minutes. You can see it is a lot more translucent in here, and you can see they're kind of sweating out. So the next thing I'm gonna do is actually add the before I add the not meat, we're gonna add a little bit of garlic. This is about 2 cloves. You can go as high as 4 if you want, if you like garlic and garlicky flavored things. And you add the garlic last because if you do it too soon, it'll burn. It just tends to cook faster. So you're only gonna cook the garlic there for like 30 seconds to a minute, just until you can start smelling the garlic, basically. Like when it's fragrant, you're good. Then we're gonna add our meat or not meat in this case. So this is the impossible meat. Now I usually make this with the Beyond Beef, and it comes out pretty amazing. I even was able to trick my family into thinking it was normal chili. So I don't know about the impossible meat, but I would presume it would be similar, if not the same. So hopefully it is just as good or maybe even better. So this is something I do that's a little different than a lot of chili recipes. I think, I have no idea, but I think, is I like to add the meat now and season the meat with the chili, with the seasonings you're using for the chili. So I think it just gets into the actual, the protein part a little bit better, and so it just enhances the flavor as opposed to it being like a bland meat with like a very overspiced soup. So I want the flavor in the actual protein. So I'm gonna throw this in, I'm gonna break it up, and I'm gonna season it real quick. All right, so when it comes to seasoning your chili, you could buy one of those pre-done little packages and just dump it in and call it a day, but come on, we can do better than that, right? Right? We're better than that. So we're gonna start with a little bit of salt. This is the blend I would recommend. And if you're looking for a proportion, I'll leave it in the description below. It's probably like a teaspoonish, okay? And then you're gonna really wanna hit it with cumin and chili powder. These are the things that are gonna make it taste like chili. Don't go too over on the cumin Otherwise, it's gonna end up tasting like a taco, which is delicious if you're going for taco flavored chili, but maybe not the most chili if you want it to taste more traditional. So you're gonna hit it with some chili powder, about another 2 teaspoons or so. Then you're gonna hit it a little bit with some smoked paprika. And this is gonna help it get a smoky flavor, especially if you're not using like steak or whatever, or beef. You know, that traditional smoky flavor you want from a chili. And then I like to put just a titch of cayenne in. Sometimes I'll overdo it, so I'm gonna be careful, and then I'll reassess down the line. And then you're gonna do a little bit of oregano. Mexican oregano would be better, but any oregano works well. And this is the very, very simple spice blend that I use for all my chili that is better, I think, than the packaging. So now that I have this seasoned, I'm gonna start breaking up the protein so that it can so that it's not in a big brick when we finish this chili. We really want it to be ground and evenly distributed. All right, so this is breaking up pretty well, actually. I think I kind of like how this is breaking up more than I like the Beyond Beef, to be honest. So we're gonna let that just cook up just a little bit more. I'm gonna throw some, I'm gonna get some garlic and onion powder because I didn't add that right away. You might be thinking, AJ, why are you using garlic powder if you're adding garlic? And that's a good question. And I don't have an answer. I just know that this is what I've done, and it tastes good. So I'm all about the result, baby. I don't care. It's cool. You know, I never say baby, and I just did it right now. And I think it's because I was afraid of the silence. All right, so added a little bit of garlic powder, a little bit of onion. Still stirring this, making sure the protein is broken down. It doesn't have to be completely cooked. You just don't want like chunks. That's the main thing you're trying to do here is pre-break it down before so that you don't have a big glob of meat in your soup, basically. I mean, this is smelling pretty awesome. I'm not just saying that. I mean, I'm pretty impressed with myself. Also, I didn't eat a big breakfast, so it probably smelled even better. Great thing about chili is it's really easy, and like it's morning now, but we're gonna have this for dinner, and so I'm just gonna let it cook I'm gonna let it simmer all day, and it's gonna be even better, but it's not really that big of a mess. You need a pot and a cutting board. That's really it. If I didn't tell you anything, you would think this is just normal chili. Let me get a nice little shot of it. I mean, what is that? That just looks like some chili. Am I right? All right, the next thing, so this is pretty much cooked up. The next thing we're gonna wanna add is our veggie stock, diced tomatoes. Those could also be crushed tomatoes. I've made them both ways. I kind of like it diced more because it gives it more body, right? There's more things in there. It's not so liquidy and mushy. If I was making more of like a sauce, like a coney sauce or whatever for like a chili dog, then I'd probably use crushed tomatoes. I would definitely use crushed tomatoes. So let's throw the diced tomatoes in real quick. Actually, you don't have to throw it in real quick. You can take your time because this is gonna cook all day. And you're gonna be cooking all day, AJ, so don't worry about it. Also, is chili a soup or is it a stew? Let me know in the comments. All right, so here we got our first can of diced tomatoes. I'm gonna throw it in there. And then our second can, and yeah, this can be one big can. It's just 28 ounces total. This can be one diced, one crushed. This can be with oregano and basil added. Like, it's really cool. Like, these are just normal, but whatever you want to do, it's your chili. You can do whatever you want to it. So those are in there. Next, we're gonna add the beans. So we have 2 cans of black beans and 1 can of red beans or red kidney beans. You could also add pintos if you want. I've found that this combo is kind of the best, but that's it. And then make sure you drain these. You don't have to rinse them too intensely because you actually want some of that like aquafaba to make it thick. Here we got our first can of beans. We'll do the red beans next, and we'll do the last can of black beans. So it's gonna look a little too thick with 1C, but we're gonna add some veggie stock, and that's gonna make it, you know, a little thinner. Alternatively, or additionally, you could add a little bit of tomato paste if you want to make this thicker, but I don't think it's necessary. I've done it before, not really necessary. I'm like, am I just doing this to add an ingredient? Like, why am I doing that? You know, if it's good, just eat it. You know, you don't need a bunch of things to make it good. It just needs to be good. All right, and then for the veggie stock, I'm gonna add about 2 cups. You could alternatively skip this and just do water, but I think this adds a little bit more flavor. So now we're just gonna let it get up to temperature, and cook. You can cook it for as little as like 15 minutes, as long as hours and hours and hours. So I'm just gonna have this cook probably for like 15 minutes to a half hour. We'll come back, we'll serve it up. I'll show you how cute it is, and then we will, and then this is gonna be my lunch and or dinner. All right, so I'll see you when we put it all together. We're pretty much done, and then we can eat. Okay, so I have my chili done. I got some cornbread done also that I thought I would pair with it. I made it a separate video if you're interested in making some cornbread to go with this chili, but it looks pretty awesome. I don't want to toot my own horn. I'm gonna have, but somebody's got to, right? So I'm gonna have my wife, JD, come try this out. She just tried the cornbread. Now she's gonna try the chili.
Oh, it looks so cute.
Hey, pretty.
Hi.
You wanna give it, well, first impressions. It's cute?
It looks nice.
It looks nice?
Yeah.
I'm getting better at making things look cute.
Definitely.
Normally they taste good, but now they look good.
Yeah. I mean, it smells just like chili.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Impossible, it almost feels a little bit more like it mimics meat.
Mm-hmm.
It does?
Mm-hmm.
It's got a meatier flavor?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. How is it?
I can't tell the difference.
You don't even know?
No.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's really good.
Is it good?
Mm-hmm.
Just as good as when I make it with meat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
It is.
Nothing, doesn't need salt? Doesn't need nothing?
No, I don't think so. It's a little spicy.
Yeah, I put a jalapeno in it this time.
Yeah. Of course you did.
Why? I only put one though, and I cut off the end. Okay, cool. Does it pair with the cornbread?
Yeah,
you wanna,
it does.
It does?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good meal.
It's a good meal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is gonna be your dinner, so enjoy.
Great.
Sorry.
I'm excited.
Yay! 1 to 10. What do you give it? How many fairies out of 10?
I think the chili's a 10.
The chili's a 10?
Yeah.
Well, thanks for tasting it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat this for lunch, I think, too. Good. Thank you, viewer, Becky, for watching this video. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them down in the comments below. Like this video if you like it, if you found it entertaining / helpful. Either one of them. It doesn't have to be both. It could be either entertaining or helpful. You're allowed to like it. And subscribe if you like videos like this and you want to see more of them so you never miss another one. And yeah, if you're interested in making this cornbread to go with the chili, go ahead and click the video at the end here, and that'll connect you to that recipe. And if you make this, go ahead and tag me at @HeyAJ_Rivera. I'd love to see what you do. If you tweak some things, are you making it plant-based? Are you not making it plant-based? Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Is it legit good? Oh yeah.